The initial frenzy is over. People who waited in line for hours back home now trying out their new iPhone 7s. Included in that group, Matt Swider, senior mobile editor for TechRadar. Matt, was it worth the wait?
It was for some people and others not so much. If you were waiting in line and didn't have a reservation, you probably weren't getting the cool phone that you wanted, including the Plus version, the 5.5-inch bigger iPhone 7. Or the jet black version in any size. So the jet black version, the new hot color, that's pretty glossy. That wasn't available to people without a pre-order, and it was hard to get a pre-order last week when they went up for reservations.
I got to admit, I'm really happy with the camera on my iPhone 6. Just how good is this new camera on the 7?
It's a lot better in key areas. So when there's a lot of light, you're going to get a great photo with pretty much any modern smartphone. But when it comes to low-light situations in restaurants and bars, especially when there's group photos that you want to take and the lighting isn't so great, then that's when you need a really modern camera phone. And that's where the 7 really excels. It has this optical image stabilization, and basically that means that the camera moves with you. So it has a little bit of a tilt if you have shaky hands, and it makes up for those out-of-focus photos. And that's where the iPhone 7 and the iPhone 7 Plus really excel.
You were mentioning it's hard for some people to get their hands on the ones that they want. If you go in right now and try and order the Plus in the shiny black, they're going to push you out to like November. So give us some tips and tricks. I remember covering one of these openings, and there was a whole line at the Apple Store, and then somebody walked by with a Verizon bag, and he was like, they're open down there. You can walk.
That's exactly what I just wrote for TechRadar. I gave 5 tips on how to wait in line and be successful in any iPhone you want, and that's one of the secrets is these carrier stores, they don't have a lot of stock, but everybody assumes that, so they just go to the Apple Store. And I usually wait in line at the Apple Store with everybody else, but I usually pass by a Verizon store with one person sleeping outside waiting for them to open. So, you may try your luck at a smaller carrier store and just try it tomorrow morning because they have all these reservations, but if people don't show up for their reservations, they go back into the system eventually, sometimes the next day, sometimes 3 days later. So you may have luck when there's smaller lines, and you don't have to wait till November, but you may have to wait till tomorrow.
And while there are lineups for the iPhone 7, is it fair to say that there are a lot of people who are just basically sitting back waiting because next year is the 10th anniversary of the iPhone and want to see what they're going to come up with next year?
That's the big question. What's going to happen next year? Apple usually has what they call a TikTok life cycle on their phones. They usually change it every 2 years. Well, it's been 3 years since the last big change on the iPhone, when the iPhone 6 came out. And this third one isn't really a giant change. So everybody's expecting them to have held back and have a new design and new features for the 10th anniversary. So, you'll have to wait another year for that stuff, maybe. But I say my best advice is upgrade if you have the chance to do it, if your contract is up and you're, it's not going to cost you a lot of money to do so, because those photos for the next 12 months will look better, your battery life will be longer, and your phone will be faster. Matt, so, take the chance.
Matt, we're a little tight on time, but there is one big change with this new iPhone that a lot of people are pushing back on. That is getting rid of the headphone jack.
Yes, I can never escape that question. It's a giant change. It's like taking the 30-pin dock that we used to use to the Lightning port, and that was a headache for a lot of people because it was a new connection for the power. Well, it's the same type of thing. It's going to be a headache for a little while, and their solution is these new wireless AirPods that are pretty great. I've tried them out. They don't fall out of your ears, but they basically snip the cords.
Matt, thank you. Matt Swider, senior mobile editor for TechRadar.